Well, good morning. It is stewardship season right now, and during these weeks of this season, we are inviting some folks to come forward to be interviewed, a short interview. And today, I would like to invite Dr. Deborah Rexrode to join me. Deborah is the Associate for Stewardship for the Presbytery of the James. And she has been a great asset to our stewardship committee and to our newly developed strategic development team. And we are really glad that Deborah is here with us today. And I just want to thank you, Deborah, for joining us. And just have a couple of questions for you and ask you to share with our congregation today. I wonder, can you tell me why did our stewardship committee ask you to help them and to help us as a congregation at First Presbyterian Church?
Sure. Let me just tell you a little bit about how my position came to be. 2 years ago, our presbytery decided that having someone on staff to work with all the congregations in our presbytery, and there are 104, to do stewardship would be a very healthy thing for not only our churches, but also for our presbytery. So I came on board, and what I do is spend time with congregations just like yours to talk about capital campaigns, planned giving programs, and to help enhance the stewardship efforts of your church. Now, I work with churches that are real small, and I work with churches that are large like yours. So when Steve Burrill, the chair of the strategic development team, and Steve Eason came to visit me, and they asked me about what it would take to hire a consultant to work with the strategic development team. And I looked at them and I said, "You already have, and that's me. I'm working for the presbytery, and you've already provided the resources to make that happen. When you give to the presbytery and to the church beyond these walls, you've helped to fund this particular ministry that I've been called to. So I'm your mission dollars at work." Mm-hmm. And so it connects us all, because not only am I here to serve you, but your contribution helps me to serve churches who couldn't even ask that question about a consultant.
Wonderful. That's very helpful to know. I know I've worked in churches where we have hired a consultant to come in to help us with stewardship, and we know that our congregation does make a significant contribution to our presbytery, as we are called to do, and to know that, to witness how our ministry dollars are being served. And as I said, you've been a great asset to our teams. So the job that you have, committing all your time to stewardship, is an interesting one. And I wonder if you can share why you gave your whole career to this and what motivates you.
When Mary Kay told me she was going to ask me that question,
I wanted it to look like you didn't know first time.
I know. I kind of chuckled, and I really had to give that a lot of thought. And so what I would say first is, what I have done is given my life's work, not only to God, but to the church. And so I've had lots of careers. I've worked as a financial aid officer at Davis and Elkins College, and lots of things in between. I've done public opinion research at the University of Virginia. But the last 12 years, I gave to academic research on stewardship. And that's what I based my dissertation on. And so the opportunity 2 years ago then to serve our presbytery in this way it had to be a call from God. I love the children's song, so perfect. Mm-hmm. And so what motivates me is the opportunity I have to spend time with folks like you to talk about what stewardship really means. And I do that, as I said, in small churches and large churches. And what brings me joy is seeing churches find their potential, whatever it is that's your unique ministry, and being able to embrace the gifts that you have to offer. I love it when I get a phone call that says, we just formed our first ever stewardship committee. This is a small church of 40 people. And we're doing a book study so we can learn what that means. Or a church that says, we did a narrative budget and our giving last year increased by 10%. What a wonderful celebration that is. That's what motivates me.
Wonderful. And you mentioned potential. You've been working with our church for over a year now, I think. What do you see as our potential?
I see lots of potential. First of all, I see it in the leadership. I've met with the session. I see it in the strategic development team. Everyone on that team is working hard and taking ownership for what's going to happen in this church in the future. And I know this is kind of a trying time because you're in the middle of a transition. And I said at the early service, I just know God is calling a new pastor here. And then I had to stop and think, wait a minute, they'll think the Presbytery knows something that you don't know, and I don't. But I do know that God is calling a new pastor for your church, and there are lots of great things about to happen. The stewardship committee that I'm working with is under the leadership of Bruce Arnett, and he is doing an absolutely fine job. And there are great folks on that team. If you recall, this week you probably got a packet in your mail. And in that packet is this little pamphlet, which you may have wondered, what is this? This is a narrative budget. So instead of seeing lots of line items and columns of figures, your budget has been presented as an expression of faith. It's got stories and pictures about all the wonderful ministries that are happening here at First Pres. So you have Hannah Gray to thank for the wonderful work on this, Mickey Stout, Terry Sears, Preston Blackburn, Cap Clark, Bill Overton, and Charlie Vaughters has agreed to teach a class on stewardship. And I am really excited about that possibility and what it'll mean for you and your congregation. And the only thing missing is your commitment of time, talents, and resources to make it all happen.
Well, thank you, Deborah.
Welcome.
Thanks for letting us know what you do and our involvement with the Presbytery. We appreciate that.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.